Okay.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Miss Camay Show. I am your host, Miss Camay, and I have the pleasure of interviewing today the fabulous. I mean, if you looked up fabulous in the dictionary, I swear to you, there is a picture of the beautiful Deontrae Sherrard. Welcome to the show, Deontrae. We're going to call you D for general purposes, right?
Yes, hello.
Welcome to the show. I'm so excited that you're sitting down with me today and giving me this interview. I've been interviewing for many years, as you know. We've
Yeah.
tried a few times in the past to get you live in the studio back when I was in Seattle, but we had broken window motors and snowstorms and loaner car Toyota Yaris's that really created challenges for us. So welcome to the show.
Oh my God.
Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Miss Camay. I appreciate the opportunity to be here and be around your subscribers and see what your world looks like from this point of view.
Well, they definitely want to hear from you. I'm going to give everybody just a little bit of history between you and I. Today, we're going to talk about the responsibility of a pageant title holder to her pageant system and her community. And I just will share with our audience that you and I met at a celebrity bowling event. I was actually making an unapproved appearance. And I remember walking in the door and, I had on my crown and my sash, my regalia, and I was with a girlfriend. And out of nowhere, I don't even know where you came from, but out of nowhere, you're like, oh my God, and and I mean, I guess the rest is history. Here we are sitting here today. So you
Yeah.
were very active in the plus pageant industry up in Washington State. And I want to give you an opportunity to share with our audience, what your pageant resume entails. But you have played a very strategic, very intricate role in my pageant journey from the very beginning. And you've also supported, coaching events that I've put on with other pageant sisters in Washington State. The Washington State Trilogy with the American Beauties Plus pageant system back in 2013, 2014. You were very iconic and strategic in what you brought to the table when you, spoke at our workshops. And just the voice that you've been for, plus size pageantry really as a whole, because, people that know you and know your history know that you really were there from the beginning. So let's start with that. Give us a rundown of, when your pageant career started and the titles that you competed for and the titles that you've won.
Absolutely. So my journey actually started because I'm a shopper and I was shopping in Macy's. And a manager at Macy's approached me about modeling for Macy's. And I was like, well, I've never modeled before. And she gave me an opportunity to go get pictures and come back and submit a picture. And from that point, there was a modeling contest, which I didn't know. And during the modeling contest, I was actually one of 5 winners that had won. So with that came the appearances for Macy's and doing in-store shows and that type of thing. From that, branched off into pageantry. I was contacted by the director of Miss Plus America and asking me, was I interested in pageantry? What am I passionate about and those things? And that's where it all kind of started. And that was back in 2006, actually, when that happened.
Okay.
So then I ran for Mrs. Plus America in 2007, 2008, 2010, and eventually won a national title in 2016. So it took 4 times for me to come in first runner-up, second runner-up, second runner-up again to get the national title. Yay! Because that was a big deal for me.
Yeah,
it was a big deal.
Yeah, of course. So, so kind of elaborate on that a little bit, because there, you know, as you know, I was just at Miss Plus World earlier last month, and you know, of course, there were only 2 queens that were crowned and 2 humanitarian ambassadors that were crowned. You know, in every pageant system, you know, only crowns, you know, so many queens. And so, you know, talk about that. You know, yes, you know, competing first and foremost is a huge accomplishment, just a huge accomplishment. Placing in the top 5 is huge as well. But it's still considered a defeat, if you will, for lack of better words. And so talk about that. What made you, you know, continue to compete?
Well, the first time that I was a delegate with Miss Plus America, I was super green, hadn't done pageantry at all. I experienced a lot. I was taught a lot. I went back the subsequent year because I felt like I needed to get more. I know there was more there for me to get. And I'm a very detailed person, as you know, and we want the world to know that I'm very detailed and I need to feel, be in the middle of everything that's going on. And if I don't get that feeling like I know and I can, you know, there's some cadence to it and I know what the steps are, then I'm going to go back until I get that. So I didn't get that in 2007 either when I came in second runner up. And then in 2010, I was like, okay, so I think I got it now. I think I got all these pieces. And I tried again. And at that time, and I'll never forget this, I felt like there was something that I was missing. And I felt that I was missing something at that point. And you and I have talked about this before where Ms. Nanette Watts, she made her appearance. And during the time that she's encouraging all the delegates, she made this one statement and I'll never forget it. She said to all the ladies that were in the room that you're not competing you're not competing against the girl that's sitting next to you. You're competing with the girl that's in the mirror. And I got chill bumps just saying that. So when I realized what that meant, I went back in 2016 and got the title. So what that means is you have to know you and be a better you. And you have to understand what pageantry means. It's not in the moment. It's not for your reign. It's for a lifetime. Pageantry is forever. And the brand that you represent and the brand that represents you, you have to stand up and be that person every day, all the time. So it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle change. And when you have committed to that, I think that's when things start to happen for you in pageantry.
Oh, that's such a great point. I'm sitting here and I'm getting emotional listening to you talk because we've shared these moments. For those of you who don't know, Deontrae coached and mentored me. We actually met in 2012. So we met 2 years after your last pageant competition. And I remember you saying that to me. I remember you telling me, you know, you're competing against yourself and this is going to make you a better, you know, better version of you. And such great wisdom, such great wisdom. Were you ever coached or mentored by anybody, since we're talking about coaching and mentoring?
Yes, you know, actually, Miss Camay wears many hats. And she actually coached me when I won my title in 2016. Prior to that, it was just conversations that we were having. But both as you and I evolved, we solidified the role and the label of being a coach. Because the best coach is a coach that has competed and have been in those shoes and understand what it's like to be on that stage. And you did an awesome job, evidently, because yay, got my title in 2016. So thank you, Miss Camay, for all you do. Things that people see and the things that they don't see. We've had a lot of crying nights. We've had a lot of phone calls. We've had a lot of sit downs in front of the fireplace and conversations that went for hours. So, and that's what this is about. This is what the legacy of pageantry is about, are those special moments. And when you get those, they somehow transform you. And I want to say to you that thank you for setting me straight, because I was like, I already know this and I know what to do. And you were like, you know that pageant presence, Deontrae, don't forget that. That's super important. I know you've been there, done that, but you need to been there, done that, and then this time we're going to succeed. And that's what happened in 2016.
Right. Well, and, I remember, you coached me through, Washington Bless America, the first ever, Washington State plus size pageant. You coached me through that competition where I took first runner up. So I was defeated. I was defeated. You also coached me through my national competition with American Beauties Plus. And I was crowned an ambassador. I was coached through that. I was also coached through that reign by you. And I was coaching other delegates as well. So yes. And so it was kind of like this kind of circle back around with you, because, I was instilling what I had learned and how I was coached and mentored. But I continuously came back around for coaching and mentorship from you. And then when I was crowned a Lifetime Queen, you also coached and mentored me through that reign as well.
Yeah.
So when you decided to compete in Miss Plus America, you like you said, you were prepared, you knew how to compete, you knew how to get prepared, you knew what you needed, you knew so many things about competing, in pageantry. And, the areas that I coached you in and the time that I spent with you, coaching and mentoring you, were not the same things that you coached and mentored me on, because we're different. Yes. We're different. And so, my weaknesses and, my coaching opportunities were very, very different, from you and your coaching opportunities. And it was so, I remember when you won your title, and I unfortunately wasn't able to be, at the pageant with you. But I remember you messaging me, and then I also, remember, I think it was your husband, who would message me, because we are very, very good friends. Our relationship has grown and fostered, over the years, and I love your family. I'm very close with you guys. And, just the appreciation and the adoration, for the mentorship and the coaching and the help and the support. And so let's talk about that a little bit, because we have, MPA is coming up, isn't it, in a few weeks, right? 6 or 7 weeks, I think. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we just crowned, our Miss Plus World Queens. And so talk about the sisterhood with me, because you've been a firm believer in, rhinestone sisterhood and our pageant sisters. And so, share with our audience, your perspective about the rhinestone sisterhood.
For me, upon competing with women that you're just now meeting for the very first time, there's always a little apprehension. But the key thing is feeling comfortable, and feeling comfortable enough in you to reach out to these women, these other delegates that are in the other room, and embrace them, and physically embrace them or verbally embrace them. But these are your sisters. These are the ladies you're going to be with for the next 3 to 4 days, continuously doing, preparing for production and eating together, and having events where it's about the sisterhood and bringing us closer together. And these ladies will learn you. They will learn you in 4 days. And the other piece of it is that you're probably rooming with one of your sisters as well. So, which is intentional, to bring about that to bring about that sisterhood. Because you and I know we do best when we're in our own room, but
Yeah.
there's more to
Yes.
there's a lot to be said for rooming with another delegate, because then you learn them, they learn who you are, and the connection that you have with that person will last forever. And then once you embrace the other delegates, tangibly or physically embrace them, or through your experiences, embrace one another, they will be forever in your life, because every link on social media will include all your sisters, and it will continue to be that way. So that is how your social media really grows, from being just, maybe 20-25 people to 100 plus, because you now have this group of sisters, and we call each other our rhinestone sisters, because of course it's pageantry, so rhinestone, of course. And
Always sparkly.
yeah, exactly. And everything will be about harboring a wonderful ongoing relationship with these women. And at that point, they just become your sister. They're part of who you are, because they know pieces of you that the rest of the world does not. So
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
it
Great
is
point.
a wonderful feeling.
So how important is it for courts? And for those of you who might not understand what the terminology means, a pageant court is the lineup of the queens that have been crowned, that are moving forward in their active reign. So, usually it's like with the Miss America system, for example, it's one woman that's crowned, right? But there's the first runner-up, the second runner-up, third, fourth, and fifth runner-up. So that's actually, for the Miss America system, that's actually the court, is the runners-up, including the queen as well. So for Miss Plus America, there's an elite queen, and then there's a division winner in each division, the Miss, Ms., and Mrs. And so those queens that are crowned, that is Miss Plus America's 2019 court. And so how important is it for you? Let's touch on the national level, because that's the title that you held. And then let's talk on the international level. How important is it for Rhinestone sisters, for their court, to, regardless of whether they like each other or not, because, hey, sometimes we just don't like each other, right? But we're representing a pageant system. We are, wearing the crown for that particular pageant. And so it's no longer personal. It's now business.
Yeah.
It's now business.
Yes.
And so talk about that a little bit. The importance of, partnering with your court, your Rhinestone sisters, for appearances, for events, et cetera, to represent the pageant system.
Well, I want to say first and foremost that you're a force in numbers. And pageantry is an elite genre in itself. So any sister from any pageant system is your sister, regardless. I want to make that super clear. And it doesn't matter what system. They don't have to all be from the plus size system. They can be from any system. And I find myself having to repeat that on a regular basis, because people limit themselves by saying my rhinestone sisters are the sisters from my pageant system. No, because we're all holding hands across America, doing our best to make this world a better place. That's the first thing. The second thing is that being in pageantry takes a special person. And I'm not saying that other women that have not competed aren't special. I'm saying that once you compete, you understand what I'm saying. There's something that deeps down inside of you that reaches your soul when you are in pageantry. And when you get together with other rhinestone sisters, it is a glorified rhinestone party, trust. It is about us and what we need to do to make the world a better place. And we come in full force, making sure that we do that. But we also understand that we have a brand we need to uphold. And that pageant system, whatever pageant system it is, we want to make sure that we're doing our best to represent that pageant system. And even if you're by yourself, or if you are with your rhinestone sisters, we have to remember that we do stand on a pedestal, and we do wear our crown, even when the crown is not even on our head. That presence of pageantry totally exists. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's very important to uphold that.
Yeah, I remember back in 2013, we were spending a lot of time together. We were very active in our community with Denise Johnson. She was a young lady
Yes.
that I coached. She took a title with ABP as well. And I remember we went out one night, and we went, it was in Renton, and we
Yes.
had come from, I can't even remember where we came from. I think Denise and I had an appearance earlier that day, and we were like ready to take the crown and sash off. We were ready to like be off, right? And I remember, we walked into the little, the little club that we walked into, and of course, we still exuded the regalia, even though we weren't wearing it.
Yes.
We were still representing our pageant system. We were still, representing our community and where we came from. And, I just remember, and it happened, many times. It wasn't just this one time, but I specifically remember this night because, like you said, there's power in numbers, right? So the three of us walked in, and I think your husband was with us that night, because we definitely
Yes.
never really went out unescorted. And I just remember, yeah, I just remember, everyone like the wow factor, like, who are they? Who are those women, and what are they doing? And who are they? Just, the intrigue and, the interest.
Yes.
And so, you're right. When you are a title holder, you can take that crown and sash off, but you are still a representative of yourself first, most importantly, and then,
Yes.
also your pageant system as well. And so,
Absolutely.
on the international level, when you've got a queen that, let's take, for example, Miss Plus World. We've got, a Dinah Pollard-Smith who's out in South Africa. And we've got, Liliana Budare. I have to get my r's down. She's representative, from the Rio Grande. And then we've also got, Sonoy Tuateli, who is in the Pacific Islands. And Dr. Jennifer Jackson, who's down in Texas, down in Tyler, Texas. And so, you're not in the same state, you're not in the same city. And so, travel's required, obviously in this case, visas are required. So what would you tell those, pageant title holders who are on the international level, about connecting with their, rhinestone sisters and representing the pageant?
So very important that there's a destination where all of you meet up, where you all can make an appearance together, because there's something about that presence. I mean, individually we hold that, but like I said, when there's plus ones, oh yeah, we're a force to be reckoned with. Absolutely. And I would say to them to schedule a trip to a neutral location and make several appearances, because one appearance will beget another appearance, trust me.
Right,
and it can happen pretty quick.
Right.
Yes. So yes. So I would say to them that don't let too much time go past before you reunite with your court to make an appearance. There's something about that it's like super special. So it's like you're getting a quadruple ice cream cone, with all the ladies showing up. Otherwise it's just a single scoop, so you want to open that up so you can get that feeling and understand what it is when you do make that appearance with your sisters. And then you learn things. There's a lot to be learned when you go to different countries, to different cities, different states. It is really a testimony to who you are as a person when you're able to do that. And everybody can have their rhinestone confetti on 10, there's nothing better than that. There's no better feeling than that, because everyone brings their A game every single time.
Yeah.
So I would say that, yeah, they should meet up at a neutral location and let that happen. Let that magic happen.
Yeah, great point. Really, really great point. I've, experienced as a delegate and also as a queen, Rhinestone Sisters, not, let me just say this, not being down for the cause. And, not embracing, their Rhinestone Sisters, not embracing, the other women in their court, and alienating them out of an appearance, or now everything's online. We have so much virtual opportunities where queens can come together as a group, and so I've seen where queens and courts have been alienated for whatever reason, and it just really shouldn't happen, in my opinion. It really, when you're holding a title, it's not just about you. It absolutely is not just not about you. So, great point. Really great point. We don't have very much time left, and I feel like we could talk, for another 2 hours about pageantry. I mean, we've actually been talking the last 7 years about pageantry. It never really stopped.
Yeah, exactly.
But in closing, you've been, just an amazing, such an iconic woman in plus size pageantry in the state of Washington. With Washington State, or Washington Plus America, you were, very, very involved in that with that director at the time.
Yes.
You've been an advocate for, America Beauties Plus, also Miss Plus World. You were, there on location last year, supporting both MPW and Miss Plus America, your pageant system.
Yes.
And, I've heard a lot of people talk about, your own community, never supports you, your friends and your family and your own community, they're the last people to support you. And so, we talk about platforms in pageantry, what we're passionate about, where we want to make a difference or a change in the world. Touching other women and, I can attest to what pageantry has done for me, and that's obviously a different interview, but I definitely would not have survived some of the things that I have experienced these last years in my life, the way that I survived them, if I had not gone through competing in pageantry and everything that I, had experienced. I was not from Seattle. I was not born and raised in Seattle. But the Seattle community embraced me, and they welcomed me, and they supported me. They sponsored me. They made, an investment in me and the things that I was doing, in my reign, the Miss Camay show as well. Just what my brand has blossomed to today. And so talk to our audience about, the community, the local community, where we live, where we eat, where we work. How important is it for pageant queens to really get involved in their local community?
It is, we're like anchors to our communities, in that, especially here in the state of Washington, where pageantry is kind of like a hush hush. It's like a big secret, and not much is going on. I think that between you and I and other women, our delegates, and women that have won crowns in other pageant systems, what we've done has transformed the state of Washington, not just the city of Seattle. What's really important for me is getting out in your community and making an appearance, so they know that, first, that the pageant exists. That's the first thing. That's super important. The second part is that to make them believe that you are part of that community, and you can say it with your words, but it's more so with your actions. And I pride myself on making sure that I spend time, especially with young ladies and little girls, because they're looking at you like, wow, I really want to be that. And that's what you are on the stage. You're like, there's your desire to want to be with them and support them exists, but for you to reach out to them, you need to go to where they live. You need to go to where they hang out. You need to go to where they go to school. You need to go to where they're playing basketball. And once you do that, you become entrenched and interwoven in that community. And that's, for me, is more tangible than anything else, because they see you without your crown and sash, but like always, you always in that crown and sash to them because they're looking up to you.
Yeah.
And even today, it's been 2 years. Oh, excuse me. 3 years. It's been 3 years since I was crowned. And I continue to see these same group of women as they transition in their lives from elementary school to middle school to high school to college. I still have ongoing relationships with these young ladies. So it's wonderful to have that legacy here in the state of Washington, although I would love to have done that in my state of California, but I will take it where I can get it. And that's so important, because the little twinkle in their eye when they were 6 is the same twinkle in their eye that you see when they're 16. So I say be a part of your community and continue to do it. Don't stop because you don't have a title. You always have a title. Once you win, you have that title that belongs to you, and that gives you the credentials to do whatever you want in your community. So that would be my advice.
Yeah, that's great advice coming from a well-established, credible coach and mentor. Your results, speak for themselves. I definitely would not have been as successful as I was without you. Pageantry for me was getting up on the stage and, looking good, because I was already, I was already doing that. And that absolutely was not what it was at all, at all. So I still appreciate you, joining me today, Dee. We're out of time. How can people find you and connect with you on social media? Where can they find you?
I am on Facebook and Instagram at D Sherrard, one word, actually on both of them. And that's where I normally am most of the time, unless there's something going on in the community, then you'll see pictures, you'll see video.
Anything coming up on the horizon for you? Any news you want to share maybe?
So I've decided that I'm going to stop doing the footwork on this plus size modeling career, and I'm going to sign with an agency in New York. And I have 3 options right now, so I'm trying to figure out which one I'm going to go after. But yes, I am going to pursue modeling now that I've vast my life in the pageantry. I think it's time for me to give some time to my modeling career to see how that will go. But always busy.
Right. Well, congratulations. That's such exciting news. It's such I'm trying to act surprised, but I'm your friend, and I kind of already knew.
Yes.
But, there is no doubt in my mind you will be successful. If they want something eccentric, avant-garde, to jump out of a champagne bottle with sparklers everywhere, I mean, you can pull it off. You can pull it off for sure.
Absolutely.
So, thank you so much for sharing, your wisdom and information on the platform today. I love having you, partner with me in all the things I'm doing. Hopefully we'll see you soon. Thank you so much. And follow Dee. You can find her on Facebook and Instagram, Dee Sherrard, and that is with 2 R's, Sherrard, Dee Sherrard. Yeah. And follow her journey and find out what her next steps in the beautiful world of sparkliness will take her. Thank you so much, you guys, for watching. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a fabulous day. I love you so much. We'll see you soon.
Okay. All right. Kisses.
Bye.
Bye-bye.